We built that pier and associated 236 miles through granite rock from here to Montreal, Canada. Still in use today. There's one of our party boats over there, the Casablanca. It always looks like it's going to do a nosedive in the water for me. I don't know why. Summertime, we all got to make our money somehow. One on the left-hand side right now, that cute little boat, that's one of our other ones in our fleet. That's the Bayview Lady, on doing a 1-hour tour. Another mooring field on your right-hand side. We got everybody out today. Well, Saturday is summer. Finally, some decent weather for our local Mainers up here. You know how bad mud season was up here this year. We don't have a spring. And winter, then mud season. So that being said, we could get unexpected wakes at any time. We could get hit by, the floor could move a little bit. So if you're up and around, just make sure you know where the sturdiest part of the boat is and grab in. Unless you want to meet a new friend, right? You don't want to fall in their lap or overboard with them. That Joseph F. Kennedy is an example of what a launch would have looked like from an aircraft carrier. It was actually on the John F. Kennedy. That's Joseph Cannon. Now the next lighthouse is coming up on our right-hand side. This is Spring Point Ledge Light. It's a caisson style light, but I want to draw your attention up to the lantern gallery. You see red panes of glass and clear panes of glass. First illuminated 1896, 1875 bug, 1896 here. No electricity. They were on. The lights were on steady, no blinking. And they were on using candle power from sperm whale oil. Up north, we have to use sperm whale oil because it does not coagulate the coal. So each lighthouse had to have its own differentiation, so the mariners knew what they were looking at. This one's called a sector lighthouse. The nautical saying associated with this is, you're coming into port opposite of us, you're sailing in. If you see white, you're all right. If you see red, you're probably dead, okay? That's how they differentiate this point of land. Okay, why is he backing down? Give me here. No, got a sailboat. Sailboats have right of way. So if it looks like the captain's losing his mind today, he probably is. Now, Spring Point Ledge Light, this next fort on your right-hand side, and the next beach on your right-hand side, okay, can all be accessed by going to Southern Maine Community College in South Portland, okay? You can tell you can walk out to that lighthouse, all right? Those are those brick buildings up there. They're located in the old portions of called Fort Preble. Fort Preble was named for Commodore Preble, the first Commodore of the U.S. Navy before we changed the name from Commodore, because we didn't like the British anymore, we went to Admiral, okay? So basically the first Admiral. If you notice those cannon ports are very low to the water line on the right-hand side. It had a sister fort, both of them built in 1809 for a trade embargo, which actually did lead to the War of 1812. The other fort is on House Island over here. I'm going to talk a lot about House Island later. That's Fort Scammell, named for a Revolutionary War hero. Those two forts operated in conjunction to keep British ships from coming into Portland Harbor during the War of 1812, unlike the Revolutionary War where they didn't treat us very nicely. So you can see on the left-hand side, Fort Scammell could lob cannonballs and try to hit us in the middle of the harbor, okay? Again, I'm going opposite, trying to come in. Fort Preble's a little unique. Those cannon ports are they're small, okay? You cannot elevate the cannon in those cannon ports. So how did Fort Preble on the right-hand side work? What's that? Skip across the water, shoot the cannonballs out at high velocity. Think about that sailing ship, okay? Trying to hit the wooden hull of the sailing ship, Fort Scammell could actually try to knock out the sail and rigging. So effective that the British did not try to enter Portland Harbor during the War of 1812. All right, now on your right-hand side is a very rare sight in the state of Maine. A white sandy beach. Hot day today, right? Say it's warm. How many people are actively frolicking in the water in the surf over there? Or anybody? We call this a knee-high beach. This is Willard Beach. Well, first off, we all think up here in Maine, and I think my Mainer friends will agree with this, we know how to swim up here. We just don't swim up here. All right? Children and adults with too much antifreeze in their body, they swim. All right? If you're conscious and sober and you're an adult, no, we're not going in there. Well, this beach in particular is very cold. I told it's Willard Beach in South Portland because we have that 6 to 12 foot tidal change, so North Atlantic water washes in and out of Portland Harbor. But that's not the only caveat. Most people know about the Gulf Stream, the large body of water that starts out in the equator, goes up past, basically the Caribbean, past southern United States, misses Maine completely because of Cape Cod sticking out. And it keeps Scandinavia and the British Isles, even though they're much, much higher on the globe, it keeps them warmer than us. So, you're going to have that current. There's probably a reverse current, and there is called the Labrador. It comes out of the Arctic Ocean. It starts to dissipate about here. So every 6 hours, ice-cold Arctic water washes in and out of Portland Harbor, right past Willard Beach. South Portland does have their summer Learn to Swim program over there. So, learn to swim quick so you can go swim just about anywhere else. So out of our 3,500 miles of coastline, we have less than 100 miles of white sandy beach. Now 3,500 miles for perspective reasons, Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. The Maine-New Hampshire border all the way to Key West. Longer than that. Okay, we're very craggly. We've got a really strong craggly coast up here. Now, are we number one in the States? No, Alaska wins that one. Are we 2, 3, or 4? They fight about it all the time. I don't care, we're one of those. All right? All depends on how you measure. Is it brackish water? Is it straight seawater? Including your islands? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, this part of Casco Bay is nicknamed the Calendar Island region in Gulf of Maine. Casco Bay is only about a 26-mile square piece of the overall Gulf of Maine. So, Calendar Island name comes all the way from the early 1600s, 1615, when Captain John Smith of Pocahontas fame came over here, sent by King Charles, to survey these lands and chart these waters, pretty much starting the trend towards quote-unquote New England. So Captain John Smith said, Casco Bay, I really love it. There's as many islands, or there are days in the calendar. It's the Calendar Island region. The Friends of Casco Bay say we have 748 islands or rocks, okay? In Casco Bay. The Coast Guard has very stringent regulations. Why? I don't know. But they say we have 136. But in the Gulf of Maine, that 3,500 miles of coastline, even Coast Guard registered islands, we have almost 2,000. Right? So we've got a lot of islands. Now on your right-hand side, the city of South Portland, if you want to buy a waterfront home, about $2 to $4 million. Everything on the left-hand side you see are all islands, and we're going to go through many of those and talk about them. This has been one of the best days we've had so far this year. You're probably going to hear me say it, but this is actually nice. There's one 3-letter word you're not allowed to say on the window. Don't say it. Mariners are superstitious. It begins with F, ends in G, and has an O in the middle. All right? And our local Mainers will tell you, we've had enough of it this summer already. We don't know anymore. I can actually see all the islands. It's a lot of fun trying to give a tour saying, yeah, over there, there's something over there. Okay, so you say the word, you conjure it up. Mariners are bored at sea, so they come up with all kinds. If you want to get rid of it, you're supposed to whistle. Right? There's something about bringing bananas on a boat, but I can't seem to get the straight answer on that one. Now, many of the ship's captains, and we are Portland Discovery Land and Sea Tour. Oh, I got shade now, I take his hat off. Our Portland Discovery Land and Sea Tour, we go to the land side, we have trolleys. And those trolleys actually can take around Portland and see all the unique historical buildings we have here. Many of them have different architects from where the ship's captains went in their travels. So on your right-hand side, you see a red roof building. It's rather tan. It's a rather large house. That's Spanish influence. built by a ship captain. But now, your homes on your right-hand side went from 2 to 4 million to about 5 to 15 million. Because we've entered a new zip code. This part of land out here was called Cape Elizabeth Neck. And when Captain John Smith took his surveys and charts back to, oh, hang on, I got a phone call, it's probably spam. I don't know anybody in Kentucky. Anyways, Captain John Smith, he took his surveys and charts back to King Charles. By the way, that's the whale watch boat on the left-hand side. So he took his surveys and charts back to King Charles. King Charles looked at the names on the charts and surveys. He's like, I can't say those names. They're in the local language of the Wabanaki and Abenaki Indians, which are the local Native Americans up here. So he changed the name of many. Luckily, only 4 still exist. Charleston, South Carolina, right, coming north. Our friends in Jersey, Cape Ann for his mother. Charles River in Boston, and what was known as Cape Elizabeth Neck on your right-hand side. The name of this town goes all the way back to the early 1600s. Now, one of my favorite homes is coming up on the right. I have 2, one island home, one mainland home. My caveat for both of them is I don't want to cut grass anymore. I used to say I don't want to shovel snow anymore, but I took care of that one when I stopped downhill skiing. I go to Thailand scuba diving for the winter now. I'm retired, I'm single, I'm allowed to do that stuff. Okay, so my favorite mainland home is on your right-hand side. See whether you can pick out a home over there where there is no grass to cut in front. See the cliff house hanging out over there? Crazy part about that house is we found out about 7 years ago on Zillow that the bottom porch actually has this plexiglass floor you can see down. That's not the crazy part. The master bedroom's on the first floor, and it has a plexiglass floor in the master bedroom. It's got to be a little freaky to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And you're like, oh, I love it. But now I use this opportunity to explain the curse and blessing that a rocky seacoast can provide. The curse is easy to pick out. Don't run your boat into a rock, all right? But if you notice that tan house with the red roof flying the American flag, just to the right of it is a small rock outcrop.